Don't you think your pet deserves a special treat without all those ingredients you can't pronounce? Your pet deserves the best source of ingredients. I agree. That's why Hound House Treats is established to give your pet the best all-natural handcrafted treats packed with flavor. Try our chicken, turkey, and our pink salmon jerky. These products are 100% natural and USDA certified. It's prepared without no added hormones or steroids, no growth-promoting antibiotics, no artificial ingredients, flavors, or preservatives. Grain-free. Don't cheat your dog nutrients. Treat your dog to a healthy snack at www.houndhousetreats.com.
You are now tuned into 2111 Radio Show, hosted by our program director, Derrick Scott.
Back here on the court with the winning head coach from today's game, Georgetown's head coach, James Howard. First of all, congrats on the win, Coach. But I have to ask you, I know it kind of started off slow, just 3 lone points after that first quarter. What was said during halftime to really get the players going, coming out so strong that second half?
Hello, everyone, and welcome into our new edition of Last Night Tonight, presented by Bally Sports, at the conclusion of Game 3 of the NBA Finals.
The race for the NFC East just got that much harder for the Washington football team to catch up to. This game severely hurt their chances in the playoffs, and we were finally talking about the playoffs in Washington, Tony. We were talking about how this team had turned around just a couple of weeks ago. All of us on this screen were all smiles talking about 4 wins in a row. Then we saw that Dallas game, and then we saw what happened last night with the Philadelphia Eagles.
You're at Fight Night DC with a face and name we know very well here in the DC area, the one and only Mr. Sugar Ray Leonard. What brought you out to this fantastic event tonight?
We see people.
Welcome to the 2111 Radio Show. I'm your host, Derrick Scott, and look who I have here. Kelsey Nicole Nelson, award-winning journalist. We're going to get into this. We're going to definitely get into this. How you doing today?
I'm fantastic. I'm excited. Happy Wednesday. Thank you so much for having me. I'm truly delighted to be here on your program. So thanks for giving me the space.
Listen, exactly. So, DMV.
Yes.
DMV. People know that is that DC, Virginia, and Maryland, correct?
Yes, but DC, okay. Maryland, and Virginia. We got to say
Virginia,
the right
order. My bad. So, yeah, so you grew up, you still there, or you moved out of that DMV?
Yeah, so I am still here. You know, I always said, why leave the most powerful city in the world, of our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. So I'm born and bred here in the DMV, living now in the district. But I'm a Maryland girl, so crab cakes and football is what I grew up on. But I guess I'm a little blend. I spent my summers in Jackson, Mississippi, so I like to call myself a blend of East Coast and Southern.
Nice.
And that's kind of
how
I to be.
There's nothing wrong with that. So we're gonna go back. Because I just want to know. All right, because I've been waiting for this interview. So, sports. Out of all the things, you picked sports. Tell us about the history with sports with you. What made you get so into sports?
Yeah, for me, growing up in the DMV area, sports is part of our culture, and culture is big here. I grew up going to Georgetown basketball games. This is when Georgetown was at its height, right? Hoya Paranoia was at its height. Everybody was rocking Georgetown gear. Maryland basketball, and seeing the greatness of the University of Maryland and the great men's basketball and women's basketball programs. They produce. I remember my family got free tickets to go to our first professional sporting event. So watching Washington Mystics, girls like Elena Beard, just the young ladies like Elena Beard, Miller, watching them. I'm a Boys and Girls Club kid too, so I was always playing sports. And then I'm a daddy's girl, so my dad would always take me out. And for me, it's like I've just always been competitive. I think just naturally, always wanted to beat the boys, especially. And then I just wanted to win. I loved winning. And so for me, sports, I gravitated to naturally. I was taller than most people growing up. So, when you're the tall kid, everyone pulls you into sports. And then also I come from an HBCU sports family. And if you know about historically Black colleges and universities, sports play a large part. So I knew about our great sports heroes, very early on, and just the history of sports. And so for me, it's just sports has always been home. I've always been on a field, on a court, in an arena, and I've always been with my family there, our friends. And so for me, I think sports have just always been my comfort, my happy place, I guess you could say. And now I've been able to evolve it into a career.
Yes, and a great one so far. It really has. You've been doing so many things, So what I wanted to ask you is this, because, I've never, like I told you in the back, having a female in sports is refreshing. You understand what I'm saying? Someone that actually appreciates sport. You understand? And, I wanted to bring you here because it's refreshing to have a woman into sports and know the ins and outs. More than me because actually you study the art, the craft. You understand? So the Washington Redskins used to be the Washington. Now they're the Commandos.
Yeah, Commandos. Right? Now we can't say the R word here in DC now.
Yeah, you can't. You really can't. I'm asking you a question. Did they sell the team?
Not yet. So it's in the process right now. So Washington fans, they are anxiously waiting. The NFL Finance Committee is going over the finances of the Harris Group. So fans here, they're feeling closer, but it's honestly been a prolonged process because we started talking about this sale, Derrick, back in October of last year, hearing whispers and glimmers. Okay. But obviously now it's progressed to the point where we know the person that's the top runner for it. But it's a little bit tricky because there's so many people now involved in this Harris Group sale, which means there's a lot of people now whose finances need to be with a magnifying glass.
That's right.
Right.
Yes.
And so it's very important because the NFL, usually they like, a single buyer or minority buyers, kind of like the Denver Broncos. The Walton family, footed most of the bill. So it was much easier than this sale. But this sale is a little bit more tricky with the NFL having to do a little bit more longer. But believe me, fans are counting down to the day they can finally say they have a new owner here in Washington.
Yeah, exactly. So I have a picture, right?
Okay.
I have this picture. Tell me about this. Now, does this mean what I think it means?
I don't know what you think it means, but for me, it means, this picture means a lot to me because I was so thankful for the opportunity to work for. When I was working for them, they were that Washington football team. This is when they had no name, and everyone had jokes about the team. But for me, being born and bred here, and as I always say, the DMV breeds ballers. There's nothing like working for the hometown team because there's no place like home. This is where I grew up. People have known me, from little Kelsey and little Canaan to obviously me now. So to be able to work for, one of the most powerful franchises in football, if we're honest, and a team that I grew up watching and seeing, to be able to be a representative of them and host 3 shows for them, 2 digital shows and 1 television show, I'll forever be grateful and thankful. And, to be part of the NFL family now forever, means so much to me.
now, before I give you this round of applause, matter of fact, I'm going to give you a round of applause first. Now, I don't know how old you was. You probably wasn't born yet. But those damn Redskins beat my Miami Dolphins in the Super Bowl.
Oh, yes.
And let me tell you something.
Thoughts and
Lord, I was so disappointed when Joe Theismann and John Riggins literally ran us over. It was horrible. So, so you grew up a Washington Commanders.
I actually didn't. So believe it or not, I actually grew up, remember, I'm from Maryland. So I grew up a Baltimore Ravens fan. And this goes back to knowing your history. So I grew up in a family where early on I knew the history of Blacks in sports. So for me, actually growing up, I wasn't able to cheer for the Washington then Redskins because I knew that they were the last team to integrate. And in my family, that was a no-no, and they were actually forced to integrate if you know your history of football. Now, of course, now, 100 years later, you look at this team and you look at them having the first Black team president in the National Football League, the first woman in an NFL booth, so obviously they've made some strides. But growing up for me, it was purple, black, and white. And even now, I'm still a proud Ravens fan, but I've always had love for our DC brothers and the Washington, Redskins, and Washington Commanders. So always had love for them, but they were not the initial team that I grew up rooting for as a Maryland girl.
Right. Well, let me tell you something. So what I'm noticing, what I'm seeing is you covered so many different events. You covered the NBA Finals, the WNBA Finals, and the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, like, hearing you say that, even still for me, I feel like I'm still that little girl that, was just dreaming of these moments. And I'm forever just thankful. These are things that, people work so hard for and, you dream about. But, for me, it's, I have dreams, but how do I make my dreams a reality? And how do I make it a reality, to be long-term, long-lived? And that's why I'm just, grateful for that. Finals don't come around often. Obviously, we're preparing for finals now in the NBA and the NHL. I mean, so much happening right now in sports. But, to be able to have that opportunity, I'll never take it for granted. And I'm just thankful folks want to follow along with my coverage as I tell these stories.
Yes, let me tell you something. Can you be my little sister or something, Kim? Because I'm sitting there going, oh, my goodness. Do you have any brothers and sisters?
I have one little sister, and I had to beg for her. So me and my sister actually just graduated college last year. She's working now full time.
Congratulations.
So proud of her. So she's my little sister / I feel like my baby almost, because we have a 9-year age gap. I had to beg my parents for her, but finally got her. I never had a brother, but I will say I've been surrounded by just great male mentors that have kind of become like older brothers for me. And I can add you to the roster list and the spectrum. So I'm just
add me to the damn roster. I'll be your big brother. Listen, let me tell you something. You doing stuff, and I appreciate the fact that you went for it and you actually doing something you dreamed of doing.
I appreciate
we don't get a chance. We don't get those chances.
Yeah.
You understand? You could have completely said, you know what, I'm gonna go a different direction.
Yeah.
You stayed the course of the journey, and look at you now, winning awards, and you're one of the dopest journalists in the business right now.
That means so much to me. I'm just a girl living her dream. I said I'm just a girl from Germantown. And, to your point, my parents always said, if you want something, go get it. That's been my mindset. So my work ethic, I only know how to work hard and work the best way that I can. And I think that's just been, a testament to the opportunities that I've gotten. And then I'm always hungry, always want more, so I'm always just kind of continuing to chase the dream. Know that the dream is always evolving, Derrick, because, as I get older, I want more. And, for me now, It's even great to brand beyond just being a sports reporter. Now I'm a business owner. I'm a professor. I run an internship program. I'm a philanthropist. I sit on boards. I say all this to say, like, my story is always going, always growing. And sports has been such a great platform for me to continue to live out my purpose that God put me on this planet for.
Yes, you forgot ambassador as well.
Ambassador too, yeah.
You got ambassador. We're gonna get into all of that. So
just a little bit. Not too big.
Listen. So, this picture I'm about to show just it's so dope. This picture is so dope. As a sports fan, and I know the grind that it took to get to this point right here.
Yes.
And this right here to me is ridiculous. This is crazy. Like, where was this at? Was this ESPN by any chance?
This was actually NBC Sports Boston. So a lot of Boston fans actually probably looking at this picture, hoping they get to look at this picture a little bit longer because they're hoping their Boston Celtics are able to keep in the postseason. But for me, again, just talking about great opportunities. Like for me, I'm well traveled now, but a lot of my travels have come because of my sports career. Like everywhere from my sports career, I would not be. And that's one of those instances. Got to go to the great city of Boston, one of the best cities with sports fans. I mean, talk about avid sports fans. They love the C's. They love their Celtics. That's religion and tradition down there. So that shows you just the great places. And, for me, and being in studio is always a great opportunity. Anytime you get to be in studio in that studio chair, you see the lights, you see the camera in front of you, it just feels like you're sitting in your destiny. And I think that's really exciting, about opportunities like that.
Yes. Now, let me tell you something. So back in the days, like I said, I'm a lot older, but back in the days, it was this one woman that really, she kind of like paved the way.
Yeah.
Her name was Pam Oliver.
Yeah, the great Pam Oliver, the GOAT Pam Oliver.
That's the GOAT.
We got to give her proper respect.
Yeah, she's the GOAT. And
still is.
No, she's still doing it. She's still doing it. And I'm sitting there going, I remember when she was so younger, and now I see her and it's like she does it with grace.
Yeah.
The style, the grace, the professionalism, was that one of the people that you looked up to getting into this business?
For sure. I mean, Pam Oliver, again, you're talking about, we're talking about sports broadcasting royalty.
Yes.
With Pam Oliver, and she's inspired so many young girls. For me, seeing somebody that was my skin tone, the melanin, and the confidence that she held the mic with, I thought that was it was inspirational, honestly. And again, I mean, talk about, go to especially a sideline reporting. It's Pam. I mean, players respect her, league respects her. And obviously we all watched her at the highest of the levels.
Yes.
We see her now in Hall of Fames. I'm glad to see her name now synonymous with greatness. So Pam Oliver is definitely one of the greats that, I aspired to be when I was younger, because, she was doing what I wanted to do and I wanted to be like her. And she's a great example of why representation matters, why diversity matters, because seeing truly is believing. And so many of us saw her and knew that we could be just like her. So, thank you, Pam, for all of your great contributions and the work that you continue to do.
Ooh, you said it. You said it. Let me tell you something. You said a mouthful, and we're going to be a round of applause on that because she deserves it.
You deserve it. Oh, yeah, Queen Pam.
But, what name I don't know if you know this name, but you most likely do, because, again, this is the field that you're in. It was another Black woman.
Yeah.
Into this. Her name was Jane Kennedy.
Oh, yes. No, you know where she's from.
No, she's not from DC.
This area, yes. And, Jane Kennedy, I think, is one that so many more people just need to know, because you talk about, again, starting and trail and what she had to go through, the adversity. And Jane Kennedy is one of the pioneers. You think about Black women in sports broadcasting and sports hosting. So yes. If you don't know Jane Kennedy, look her up quickly. And she's another living legend that we're lucky to have, to be able to ask questions to, and still, see her great career trajectory that really, again, helped to pave the way for young women like me and younger women than me to continue to say, hey, I want to work in sports and I'm going to make it happen.
And you're killing it. I'm sorry, you're killing it, because I see you. I actually saw you on Peacock.
Very cool. That makes me excited. Yes, so, TV has been, I'm part of the Brother from Another family. Again, just thankful, for that. Another great opportunity. Yeah. Shout out to Michael Holley. Michael Smith was with them this week to get NBA playoffs, giving Tiger Woods some dating advice too, which
yes, you did.
Unsolicited dating advice.
Unsolicited, of course.
But maybe he should listen. I don't know. I have to say, Peacock's been so great. I had Michael Smith on my podcast show last year. I had a chance to connect with him. We have great connects. We didn't even know each other when we did the interview, but we obviously just had great connection. That's what happens when you talk to people. He's from New Orleans. I have family from New Orleans, and and then he was impressed. Me and Michael Smith talked 2.5 hours on my podcast. Our first meeting. Meeting. We'll talk about, sometimes, again, you meet people and you just connect and you can just talk. When people don't rush you, you're doing a good job, right? Like they want to be there. They want to be there with you. And Brother from Another, shout out to our great producer, Nat, who's just so amazing at doing the booking and, making sure we get on. And then shout out to Michael Smith and Michael Holley too, for having Women Wednesdays, when they make sure that women have an opportunity to talk sports on a national level. So just thankful for that great opportunity. Glad to be part of that great rotation. We have my girl Sarita on there. And just so many more, Zena. So just thankful for the great opportunity to be highlighted on such a fun show where we get to talk sports at the highest level.
Yes. So, actually my partner here says, if sports talk, Derrick is available. Yes, I am. I am definitely available. Listen,
he's ready.
I'm ready, because, I wanted to ask you about a picture. I have a flick.
All right,
so
let's
see.
This
is something behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know and need to be aware of.
Yeah.
This right here.
Yes. Books Breaking Borders. This is near and dear to my heart. You're the first to know this. I'm actually in the process of launching my own foundation, the K&N Foundation, and Books Breaking Borders will be under that. Books Breaking Borders. It's a community action. Breaking news. And that's why I stay busy. It's a community action project. I started this when I was an undergraduate student at the University of Maryland. I was volunteering with the America Reads, America Counts program. And I actually had a chance to go into Prince George's County, Maryland Public Schools. And then I was also part of the Rawlings Undergraduate Leadership Fellows program, where essentially they said, hey, you guys have been under the school public policy. There's lots of problems in the world. We want you to pick a problem, but then your task for the course of the year is going to be to find a solution to that problem, right? So that's what you work on. And for me, it was easy. It was education. From my own personal experience with education to the education that I saw and what's happening in a lot of our schools. And I saw firsthand, a lot of our Black and brown babies are being pushed through the school system without knowing how to adequately read and write on grade level, which is a problem because if you can't read and write on grade level, the rest of your life is going to be a lot harder. And so it's making sure that our kids are being taken care of. And then also what's happening right now is there's an attack on cultural history, on our history. And so it's very important for our children to learn their history. It's bad enough Black History Month in so many schools is only taught in February when Black History has been a part of everything that we've done in this country. It's been here from the beginning. And making sure students have confidence, public speaking skills, and they're able to stand up and introduce themselves and tell their story, give their elevator pitch. And then again, making sure that they're able to read on grade level, making sure that they have access to high quality books. I've been in too many schools where libraries, have older books or books that are outdated. You have to keep with the times. And so that's what this organization does. It's called Books Breaking Borders, Books to End Educational Bankruptcy, because that's what's happening right now. There's an educational bankruptcy that's happening with our students, and their education does not need to be bankrupt. My favorite quote is from Oprah Winfrey, one of my idols. Education is the key to unlocking the world, a passport to freedom. And education comes in many different sizes, shapes, and forms, but on a basic level, every child in this country is entitled to a free public education, high quality public education. And now it's our turn to make sure that we demand that education happens. So that's what my organization helps to do. I have some great interns helping me right now, Howard University and Coppin State University. So thankful to have them on board. Helping with this. And again, just looking to partner with school districts, schools, teachers, working with curriculum, helping to build libraries, hosting spelling bees, hosting family reading nights. So we make sure that the whole family is able to read and support their child in reading. And again, that's my passion project because it's so important. My biggest thing in life is impact and legacy. So this is my opportunity to make an impact and leave a legacy through Books Breaking Borders.
You know what? You're killing me with these applause. Let me tell you something. Have you ever thought about getting into politics?
It's so funny you asked me that because when I was an undergrad at Maryland, a lot of people tried to push me towards politics. And even now, people are like, Kelsey, you would be great. But I will tell you, as much as I love politics and I'm very involved in politics, and I hate to say this, but I have to be real because that's the only way I know how to be. There's also a dirty side to politics. And that's just something I just never wanted to touch or be involved in. So very involved, very active. You'll see me on Capitol Hill, working with advocacy organizations. Obviously talking to politicians through the work that I do, but I don't I don't know if I have politician in the future cards unless somewhere I can just clean up. And again, I live in DC, folks. I see everything firsthand.
Let me tell you something. You're very well spoken.
Thank you.
You understand? You're very it comes off like what you was telling us. You're so passionate about that cause. You understand? And thank you for breaking that news up here. Because for some reason, and I'm gonna tell you, I've been doing the show since October of last year.
Yeah.
And my wife actually
That's to you. That's a huge success.
Yeah. So, and what's going on is that a lot of people give us breaking news.
That's exciting.
Like it's a lot of the artists that come up, a lot of people I have done with directors and actors and producers, and they've been coming up here giving me some gems. And all I do is look back and I say, you know what? I have you up here now because what's going to happen? Because you're very smart. Let me tell you you're a very smart young lady. Let me explain how I feel that you're very smart. You're a freelance reporter. You're not signed to nobody. You're your own business.
Well, signed but flexible, so I can work with. And that's important to me.
So smart. People ready to get signed, and it's like you don't have to. You could keep and be so flexible. You could go here because I'm looking at your bio, and damn it, it's so much. We don't have enough time, put it that way, to realize how much that you've done over the course of your career. It's ridiculous. And kudos to you because again, it's something that you actually wanted to do.
Yeah, making your path. And, I'm so big into that. When I talk to young people, for instance, I'll be at a school tomorrow here in DC. I'll be at a school on Maryland on Friday. But often when we ask kids what they want to do, we expect one word career. I think that has to stop. I think again, life is about a journey. It's about evolving. And so for me,
Mhm.
I never like to be placed into any box at all because I was never going to fit in a box. And me, it was how do I make my path? And, when I was a kid, I thought I had so many things I wanted to do. And everybody's like, no, you have to pick one thing. And I thought I had to pick one thing. But then you grow up and you realize you don't have to. I'm multidimensional. I'm the creator and owner of the
Right.
story, right? I write my own chapters and I'm going to
Boss.
chapters there are. So all that to say, I want to be multifaceted. I want to show all the different things. I'm blessed that I feel like God has blessed me with multiple skills. And while I'm on this earth, while he continues to allow me to wake up each day and breathe, I'm going to do all I can to make sure that I'm using the best of my skills and talents to fulfill all those purposes that the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ has for me. So I say all that to say again, like for me, it's I have so many, like I said, education is near and dear to my heart. For me, I know what it is to be the only one in a classroom. I know what it is to be singled out and they think you have the answer for everything. I know what it is to have to work harder. I got academic scholarships to school. My parents I didn't have tutors or anything. It was literally just working hard, learning what I had to learn, long, late nights. But it's sad that, I go to so many schools and it looks the same as when I was in school. That's an issue.
Yeah.
I like to think I'm still young, but things have needed to change. And so that's why for me, education is near and dear to my heart again, because I know how much education helped me, and I'm right now, I never thought I would be sitting on boards of organizations, with other professionals, usually I'm one of the younger people on that board. And, that means a lot to me. That means there's trust there, and there's things, even being a business owner, that was never in my cards initially, but that was being an entrepreneur. I've been able to learn, but there's so many things that I wish I learned when I was younger, but now that I've had the opportunity to learn them, I want to make sure I'm giving it back to my village, the village that raised me, the village that invested in me. I want to make sure that, again, life coming full circle, that I'm making sure that I invest that back so it comes to the village members earlier so that when they grow up and they're able to go on and leave the village, they're also able still to pour and put stuff back into the village. And so that's what my purpose is now, and sports has been such a great platform, and I love sports because it's so much more than just the game. Sports touches the intersection, of so much. Like, you think about what Jackie Robinson did, with the color barrier, or the raising of the fists, in the Olympics. And even now, Black Lives Matter movement really growing largely. Yeah. When sports got involved and our athletes got involved, so sports have been such a trajectory for society when you think about that, and then again, I always say sports is really the only venue where you can have so many different types of people get along for those hours.
Yes.
Maybe a little trash talk.
Yes, it's a little trash talk in there, but
after a couple beers, but for the most part, people getting along for a couple hours, rooting for the team. And I mean, that's what I think about. That's why they've added, that's why you have the anthem, before every game. It's about bringing people together, starting the patriotism. And that's what sports does. And, again, for me, it's been able to help me, leapfrog and make a career, make a brand, and have opportunities to meet great people like you. So I'm just forever thankful.
Y'all heard that, right? There it is. That's what I'm talking about. And you're going to get another round of applause.
I think we haven't gotten this much applause in a while. Like, I'm happy right now.
Let me tell you something. So I have some flicks. Like I said, I got some flicks. And this one, I think, is going to be true to you, to your heart as well.
Okay.
Tell us about this.
Oh, my students. Oh, my gosh. So this was at the Super Bowl in Miami a couple years ago. And these are actually some of the Slam radio students. So I also have taught, and these are some of my students in the intro to radio and podcasting class. And just to brag on them, these students are running their own, we're running their own Sirius XM radio station, folks, channel 145, mind you. Doing it young. Think about that. Like, somebody was in journalism. Could you imagine if you had the opportunity when you were younger to not run your I did college radio, right? When I was in college, I was on my college radio station, which I love. Shout out to WMUC at the University of Maryland on top of South Campus Dining Hall. I didn't get to do it on a professional level like that, right? And I think that's amazing, learning how to do that so young. So those are some of the great students. And then since the school is based in Miami, when Super Bowl was there, it was so great because they actually got a chance to come experience Radio Row. If you don't know Radio Row. Radio Row is a crazy media frenzy before the Super Bowl where you have all your media, all your celebrities, all your athletes come and they talk and you do interviews and it's nonstop. That's probably the most tired I am all year long. Radio row, you're doing interviews from like 7 a.m. to like 8 p.m. at night, nonstop, like 15-minute, intervals. But the fact that the students got to come and do that was amazing. They got to go appear on national shows while we were down there, people wanting to interview them.
Yes.
They're rocking their polos, which I absolutely love, rocking the brand. But yeah, so it was just so great for me again, especially because I think for people to understand, I was teaching virtually. So I was still based in DC while teaching. So, there was only so many touch points for me to actually meet them in person, right? And seeing somebody on camera is much different than seeing them in person. So it was great to have an in-person experience in moment with them. So forever, again, just grateful. And it makes me smile just looking back at that picture.
See, exactly. So now you actually a part of a co-membership, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see something.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Yes, the NABJ Sports Task Force. Woo woo.
You heard? So tell us about this.
Family. Yeah, so I am a proud member of the National Association of Black Journalists. And within the National Association of Black Journalists, aka NABJ, we have the Sports Task Force. And the Sports Task Force, it helps propel careers. We help our student members. And so I'm co-chair of the mentorship committee. And mentorship is so huge. Journalism is one of those fields. You learn a lot in the classroom, but you learn a lot too with on the field, in the field experience.
Yes.
So all that to say, having a mentor can really help you. And journalism, it's so important too, because it really is a who you know network type of world, right? Like you could do all these great things in school and in class, it doesn't mean you're automatically going to get a job. And so to have the opportunity to help the next wave of journalists, connect young journalists with seasoned professionals. I try not to say older because people get mad sometimes when you say older. With seasoned professional journalists, veteran journalists, I think it means a lot, and so it's been amazing. It's kind of my way to give back. I'm just thankful for the Sports Task Force. I've met so many amazing mentors, and now to have like a leadership role, and work with the board, has been amazing and great. And again, my life mantra is, we stand on the shoulders of giants to whom much is given, much is required. And I wake up with that every single day. So, I feel I have a duty and an obligation, but a proud duty and obligation to give back. And that's, one of the things that, just makes my heart full, just knowing young journalists can reach out to me, ask for advice, or I can pair them with the best person, for them to continue to grow in this industry. And I think it ensures that we know our young journalists know that there is a place for them within this industry and that they'll be supported while they grow in this industry. So super excited about that.
Salute to you, man. Listen, this has been very refreshing. It's actually, I expected this when they told me, because I actually saw you in an interview, I think with Miss Lily May.
Yeah, she's awesome. Shout out to Lily. Hey, girl.
Yes, that's what they told me. They said, listen, you need to check the interview out. They said she's amazing. And I was like, what is she into? They said sports. I said, okay, we're gonna get this right now, because again, I'm a real sports guy. And before the night's over, we're gonna talk about the NBA playoffs.
Ooh, okay.
All right, so
much happening there.
Yes, it really is. It really is. Now you are an award winning journalist, correct?
Yes, thank you. And I appreciate that, because you work hard not for the awards, but it's just great to know, when you can be recognized. For the work that you've done. So I'm thankful to be able to say that, I am an award-winning journalist and hopefully continue to be an award-winning journalist.
Well, you're definitely winning some awards.
Oh, thank you so much. And you just put up one of my newest accolades, which again, I'm so thankful for. So I'm from Montgomery County, Maryland. And again, I always say, if you go on my Twitter, the DMV breeds ballers. And, Montgomery County has a long legacy of just great athletes, former athlete myself. So all that to say, to be able to give back now, we have a brand new Montgomery County Sports Hall of Fame, and to be on the board of that and to help induct the trailblazers that paved the way and the talented athletes. I'm just thankful. So I was honored. I found out I was unanimously voted into the board, which is, it's always great to know, you're in this place where you're welcome. And I'm going to help with the communications and events committee. So I'm just excited. So basically be on the lookout for the next wave of Montgomery County talent that will be inducted here in Montgomery County, Maryland.
Let me tell you something. You know why you accepted? Let me explain what I'm noticing. That you were you talk about the community.
Oh yeah,
I
was raised by the community, and I'm proud of the community in which I come from. It's part of me.
Yes, it's refreshing that you're from DC the Maryland, but it's like you're talking about your community a lot, and that's dope because a lot of the communities don't support upcoming journalists, upcoming athletes or artists or whatever it is, but you have a tight knit group with you. You know your heart. You understand? You got a big heart, and what's going on is that you're trying to bring wealth back into that community.
Oh, and you have to. I mean, that's what it's all about. For me, again, I told you I'm a Boys and Girls Club kid. My parents, they worked hard. My parents, I was always the first one at daycare, and I was the last one to leave. My parents knew I'd see the counselors come in. We'd be waiting for them, like, Miss Tasha, you're a little bit late today. But I say all that to say, I was raised by so many helping, individuals, so many, even me now being in a sorority, it's because, growing up, I was surrounded by amazing women, growing up, and I wanted to be like them. So I really am the product of people who believed in me, who gave this young Black girl an opportunity and a chance. And, a community that told me early on that I would be here, that I could make it. They were the first ones to believe in me, the first ones to start supporting my work, and my community is honestly how I'm able to be a leader today. They were, if it wasn't for people, when you're younger, you think people are picking on you, when they kept like selecting you to, lead this team or
I hated that. Yeah.
And I didn't realize they saw something in me that I didn't see early on in myself. But, looking back now, I'm thankful for the opportunity because I helped to groom me. Now, of course, for opportunities that have come up, so, I'm thankful for people like Mr. Clayton, who taught me when I left checkers, he said, Kelsey, you need to learn how to play chess. I'm thankful for Boys and Girls Club, who taught me how to swing a golf club. And when you get older, you realize how many business deals and how many events are held at congressional clubs and golf clubs. I'm thankful for, Mrs. Vance, my first Black teacher, that demanded higher and expected higher of me. My music teacher, Mr. Vernon, I say all that to say, again, my community paved the way. My community, my first awards were community awards, the ones that let me know, like, hey, I see you. We believe in you. A little young Black girl, you're going to make it. And so for me, it's making sure that I pour back into that. I'm only here because of my community, and I will only stay here because of my community. It's the people that have made sure that I am where I am. I've been able to grow my career because, people pushed and propelled me. They said, hey, you need to check out this girl, Kelsey. Hey, you need to watch her work. They're still the ones that push and propel and support me. And so for that, yes, I always rep where I'm from. You will always know it because it's part of me. It's who I am.
Yes.
All my identity is largely from my community. I'm a blueprint and imprint. I'm mom and dad. I'm Joe and Libby, but I'm also Germantown, Maryland. I'm also Jackson, Mississippi. And so New Orleans and so much more.
Listen, you killing this applause. You're killing the applause. Because it is, like I said, this is one of my favorite interviews because, again, the accolades is so much that I couldn't really put it all into one show. I would literally have to give you like 3 different shows.
Don't go through all the accolades. It's going to make me feel old.
Yes, but right now what we're going to do, we're going to get into sports.
All right, let's get into sports.
We're going to get into sports. So we're going to get into this because this is what's happening right now.
Yes, as we're talking, it is happening.
All right.
I love basketball, so I'm ready.
Yes. So now I'm going to ask you a question. The Boston Celtics.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, they're in trouble.
Yeah, Boston, you have a problem.
They got a problem, and I really believe that it's going to be between Philly and Miami, and I think the Lakers and the Phoenix Suns.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Boston is in trouble. And I hate it for Boston because when you look at it, they have the talent. Like the roster is there. Jason Tatum was a guy that we were talking about throughout the year as an MVP candidate.
Yeah.
Him and Jaylen Brown, the JJ, when that duo collides, they can just be nasty. It can be hard to handle. Talking about Derrick White, he's had spurs and bits and moments, where he's been able to step up. Obviously Marcus Smart, had the almost go ahead 3, but all that to say questions about Joe Mazzulla, but he was able to step up to a team adversity when the whole Ime Udoka thing happened. So all that to say, it seemed like Boston had unfinished business from last year in the finals. And they lost. And you thought, they would get back to business, but last night's game was rough. I mean,
Joel Embiid is
like,
listen.
It just seemed like they didn't know. I mean, it just seemed like they didn't know what was happening. And then maybe when things started to kind of click, it was too late. And Philly just ran with it. I mean, Maxey, for the 76ers, able to have a good game. Joel Embiid, playing MVP talent level.
MVP.
And then James Harden, who we've asked for consistency for, being able to do that. Tobias Harris. I mean, all that to say Philadelphia. I mean, Philly. I don't know. Philly fans is getting really exciting. But all that to say, again, Boston is a team that, again, Jason Tatum, we know how talented of a player he is, and I think, Celtics fans, I would be worried. There's a reason why they started leaving that game early. But I still think, Philly looks good, but still I would say don't sleep on Boston. I'll say that.
Yeah. Let me tell you, the reason I'm liking Philly is because Harding is finally playing his role.
Yeah, but why they brought him there, right? I mean, literally, he's playing like why they brought him there to do what they're doing.
Because Embiid is the star. This kid Maxey came out of nowhere,
young and talented, just a young.
What in the world just happened? Yeah, what did they feed that kid? And Harding is just like that supporting actor.
Yeah,
you understand? And that's what he was supposed to do in all the places he's been. But he's been trying to score 45 every night. He's trying to do the one-on-one. Now, if people don't understand that, even though he was scoring a lot of points back in the days, he still had a lot of assists.
Right. Yeah, he was an assist king. Yeah, and I think that's what people have to remember. But, I think for Harding, I think this has to go right. Like we saw what happened in Brooklyn. It didn't work out. You get out of there. You get to Philly. You have a job to do. And that job was to what? Bring a championship.
Bring a championship.
So I think right now, again, I think he's seeing that. I think with Harding, though, my only thing with him is, we can continue to get this high level consistently. Consistency is so important in the playoffs, right? Like, you're going to need him to continue to contribute because, for one, Joel Embiid, you got to keep healthy throughout the playoffs, right? You got to keep Joel Embiid healthy. You have to keep him healthy. Remember, he's not even fully 100% healthy right now.
No, he's not.
You got to keep him healthy. So, again, that means he's going to need help. So, I think, can James Harden consistently be that guy? Can their bench continue to step up and be able to produce? Because that's what it is for longevity. But I will say the Sixers have been a fun team. Honestly, the East has been fun to watch, but the Sixers have been a fun team to watch in the playoffs.
Yes, they really have. And they're not surprising. We saw them coming a while back.
Yeah.
And when Toronto knocked them out with that doggone Kawhi Leonard shot, man. And for them to even come back to be as good as they are, salute to the determination by Joel Embiid and that whole team, because that was a heartbreaker.
Yeah, and again, that's why I say Philly, you like what you see. Doc Rivers too at the helm. I think they have all the tools, and pieces. They have all the ingredients for the recipe, but will it turn out perfect and just fine? Is the final.
That's the thing, because do you really think Doc could finally make it? But to the championship.
It's interesting because I know the other game that's going on now is the Heat and the Knicks, and I think the Heat have been so fun to watch. Right, lowest seed, you get the low seed in the playoffs. We know how good the Heat were last season, but this season, it was rough. They just got in the postseason. So all that to say, but Jimmy Butler, who turns it up a notch even more than the regular season in the playoffs, he's been such a catalyst. And then when you get Bam Adebayo playing well in the paint, it's a different team.
Yes, it is.
Has been able to step up, Gabe Vincent. I mean, they've had guys be able to step up, and I think that's been huge. And I think what's so fun about the Heat is they've had undrafted guys, meaning guys that have really had to pave their way, step up.
Yeah.
It's mattered most. It's just a fun basketball team to watch. And right now, honestly, I know this game is closer right now at the half, but the Knicks just look overpowered right now. This Miami team,
the Knicks.
I'm sorry, but
the Knicks need a franchise player.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. They got a lot of.
It has been such a great addition.
Yes.
But again, it goes back to consistency and who can continue to, you have Randall, but all that to say, the Knicks, and I got another team that's not fully healthy, but all that to say, I think the Knicks, they have something special. I was proud to see them get to the postseason and playoffs, but I do not have them in the finals.
I don't think, no, definitely. So, exactly. So now we're going to go to the Denver Nuggets.
Yes, with the Joker and Jokic, they've been now Denver. We always say we don't think it's going to be Denver's year. There's always something, but Denver now.
I don't know. I think they jinxed.
Looking good.
I think it's a jinx. I'm sorry, because they never been to the finals, like ever.
It's like they play well and then boom, something happens, right? It's like
It never failed. They one of the teams that never made the finals in their whole history. And what people don't know about the history,
Nikola Jokic is playing so well, so
yes,
it's nice to have a player playing so well, a player that could have been MVP, right? To be fair,
yes,
and playing MVP level, but just Denver's a team, I think, but people sleep on Denver, and I think that's motivation, honestly, for them.
yes.
They know people are obviously doing that, but I don't know. I just think right now, I think Denver does have some momentum. I think for Denver, a key is going to be how well can they get contributions from their bench. Like you need that, because the Suns, if they're able to get the contributions, you're going to need the contributions. And again, Jokic, you don't need to ask him to do anymore, right? Murray, you know what you're going to get from him. And then also the biggest thing with Denver too, they got to play defense. Coach Malone said, you got to play defense. I don't care how much if you're not defending the basketball, you're going to lose.
Yes. And the crazy part is, like I said, the Denver Nuggets was an integrated team from the ABA. They've never played defense.
It's like, come on, like someone around the pipeline, somebody's got to teach somebody how to play.
Yes, it makes no sense.
Come on, Denver. And I think it'll be something for the city of Denver.
Oh, yeah.
I think the other thing, though, it's interesting for them is I think that the Suns, just haven't, I think so many people had the Suns, as soon as they got KD, I think so many people thought championship. You get KD, you get one of the best in the game. You've got Devin Booker, who's been phenomenal throughout the playoffs. But, with the Suns, you have people asking about DeAndre Ayton and, looking for him at times and, asking where he's at. You have a bench that can score, but can they do it consistently? We need it in consistent sprouts, because it's a lot you're asking now, Devin Booker and KD to continue to lead that team. Right. So all that to say, I think the Suns have probably been more of a surprise, and even just their postseason, hasn't, I think, went as expected, just getting here to this moment. So I think the Suns have work to do again. I think their bench is going to be so important and crucial. Chris Paul and that injury, looking like
he always get hurt during the times when you need him.
So oh my goodness, you can't win. It's like, come on, Phoenix.
He did it in Houston. He did it with the Clippers, and here he go with the doggone Suns and doing the same thing.
We want to get Chris Paul a ring, so it's
give him a ring. I mean, come on. You know what I think it is, and people don't understand how close him and LeBron is. He's never they best friends, but he never wanted to play on the team with LeBron.
You gotta get him a ring. Like
it's crazy. But now, speaking of LeBron, excuse me, the greatest scorer in the NBA, like
the king,
ever.
The king.
He's king. He's definitely the king. What do you think of the Lakers' chances?
The Lakers have been surprising. I mean, I remember talking about this team at the beginning of the season, and everybody worried about this Lakers team. Like, what's going on? I think the trade deadline and the acquisitions that they were able to make, this has been a completely different Lakers team. I actually just got back to Los Angeles, and let me tell you, the fans in Los Angeles, they're feeling it. Like they feel like this could be it. But again, going back to health, you got to keep Anthony Davis healthy, because he's either going to contribute to you on the offensive boards or on the defensive boards. And on a great night, you get them on both boards. Which is absolutely magnificent. You know what LeBron's going to give you? But LeBron is older. He has to be able to count on people. You have to look at his minutes, and how much you can play him. Because you do want to get him some rest, right? Because the guy is long, right? It's grueling. It's taxing on the body. Austin Reeves has been so fun to watch with this Lakers team. I mean, that can shoot. And when he gets on, he gets on. So I think this Lakers, he's been fun, right? Like, I mean.
You know who he remind me of? He remind me of a young Mike Miller.
Yeah, and he's just exciting. I mean, because when he's feeling himself, like he's feeling himself.
Oh yes.
And then when you get a guy the other night like Lonnie Walker be able to to step up, it's
out of nowhere
fun. And then his story, started as a starter, saw his minutes decrease, but then to have that moment, absolutely love it. So this Lakers team, all that to say, I really think that this Lakers team, it has potential. But I will tell you, as someone who's seen the Golden State Warriors in person, seen this team and knows the power and greatness of Steph Curry, I'm not ready to write them out just yet.
No, not me either. No, I can't do it because, again, Stephen Curry didn't have a great game yet. He didn't have the game yet. Right. And when they was down against Sacramento, he just said, you know what? all right, I'm tired of playing this thing.
Like, I got you. Put it on my back.
I got you. Put it on my back.
And
know,
that's huge.
Yes,
and just think, if they get Klay Thompson being able to get back consistently, Jordan Poole, who people have been asking questions of, I think this Warriors team, got Wiggins. I mean, they have the talent there. It's just getting it all together. Right now, the Splash Brothers, it's only one splash coming from one side,
Exactly.
we need the ripples. We need the ripple effect. So
yes, and it's
stepping up to the plate.
Yeah, it's crazy because a lot of people be like, well, why he couldn't do that the last game? What people don't know about sports in the NBA, as far as in sports, is strategies, is adjustments.
Yeah.
Just because you've seen how they played one game doesn't mean they're gonna do it the same the next game.
Right. Every game is different. I mean,
you got to make those adjustments.
Different, and again, and then think about it. The last game too, you would like to think teams might know your game plan more because they're watching the tape, they're watching the film, they're trying to figure out how to adjust to you. So like I said, it's always different. But like I said, this Warriors team, they've been down before, they've been out before, but they want that ring and they're trying to get back. They want to run it back. So
they want to run it back.
I'd say watch out for this Warriors team.
But I believe LeBron, he hasn't even had a big game yet. If you really think about it, LeBron James has not had a great game yet.
Yeah.
And I believe if they get close in this game tonight, I think he's going to stop it because they need it. If they can defeat the Warriors, that gives Anthony Davis and him rest.
Which is important, but it's not going to be easy because better believe when the Warriors, when their backs are against the wall, they're going to come out fighting and swinging. Like I said, and they have Steph Curry, and if there's anybody that I trust,
it's Steph Curry.
It's like if you're picking a team and you're building around somebody, and I know they have this question, as of right now, as much as I love LeBron, I would pick Steph. I mean, he's younger, obviously, right now. He can shoot the rock. So, I said that to say, like, again, just don't count the Warriors out just yet. And again, remember the experience that this Warriors team has, and I think, you can't take away from that. But again, the plays have been so much fun right now. It's truly a series and game. There's been surprises, that have come out the woodworks. Again, the Lakers, I think, have been probably one of them. I mean, again, talking about has been, and LA fans are feeling it. The Warriors, this first series against the Kings was so much fun. Now I know it was fun, and now we hear there's been questions about Steve Kerr and his coaching. I mean, you can't make up these storylines. Like,
no, you really can't.
They just keep giving and giving, and it keeps me busy.
Of course. Let me tell you, this is refreshing. You just don't understand what I'm having a good time with this, But I believe, like I said, and you heard it here first on 2111 Radio. You ready?
Yes.
I think it's going to be the LA Lakers versus the Miami Heat.
Ooh, okay.
I really do, because Jimmy Butler, I'm sorry, for some strange reason, he don't like giving up. That's why
his story is amazing, because Jimmy's going to give you his all. I think when we watch Jimmy Butler, so many of us see ourselves in Jimmy Butler. A guy that, like, to your point, gives it all, and it's paying off, right? It's paying dividends for that Miami Heat team. And I think Eric Spoelstra and what they have there and what they've built there, I'm believing in Heat culture. Like, Heat culture has been real, and it seems like, the real deal. I don't have, so my initial pick, and it's my initial pick at the beginning of the season. Let me tell you, it's on the brink right now because I had a repeat of last year's finals. I had Warriors and Celtics.
Oh, wow.
Celtics. Obviously, again, on the brink, because both those teams are on the brink.
Yes, actually. That's kind of strange. Yes, they both on the brink. Wow.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy? But, I think for the game, again, I think it's been just cool to watch. Even going back to the series before, we had such high expectation of the Cavs, because the Cavs were a team during the regular season that turned it around, turned it up.
Surprised everybody.
Yeah, but then you look at them against the Knicks, and it's like, what's this team? How are you guys getting beat on the boards and things that you did so well during the regular season? It just made you have questions, right? And you're just like trying to figure out, what's happening. And the Suns literally just getting there, to that point. And you would think it would be easy breezy, beautiful for them, because they have such a talented, duo. On the court. But all that to say, I think the finals this year is going to be fun. After I will be keeping up with the rest of the games tonight because I'm looking at the score. I see the Heat are down right now. Obviously, the Knicks fighting to live another day.
Fight. Yes.
But when Jimmy Butler again, when he gets on,
It's over.
I mean, and he's a catalyst because when the teammates see Jimmy get on,
That's when they start.
It spurs something in them. And so it's like, how do you, one thing you can't stop is, is just that feeling that, you can get that confidence. So I think all that to say, again, I'm excited. I think people thought the East has been fun, right? Like last year is all about the West, and the East has been fun to watch. Even the West, there's been surprises. And so I think all in all, basketball is an obviously great
It's
hand.
back.
It's back. Like, we're excited about the product, on the court. And again, it's all about who's going to step up, who's going to be that guy that can step up. That's why we've been talking about so many bench players as of late.
Thank you.
Able to be those, because sometimes as we see, like with Boston, even who is going to be the guy that's going to spur the momentum and be that catalyst,
Has to be somebody, yeah.
And then even, we look at it too, like turnovers have been such a large story too with the playoffs, and who can play clean basketball, right? With the Warriors, I thought they almost that last game, they almost beat themselves. Like, the turnovers were hideous.
Ridiculous.
And it was something, that we had seen this regular season, but we thought they had cleaned it up, and then they went back to that, reverted back to that. So, I mean, same thing with the Knicks in the last game, right? You can't have 16 turnovers. So all that to say, like, who's going to play the clean basketball? Who are the unsung heroes, that will step up, in the moment? And then going back to coaching, because coaching does matter. Who are the coaches that make adjustments, for their teams to find themselves in the winning side of the basketball?
Exactly. Side. I'm very surprised at Donovan Ham. For people who don't know who that is,
Donovan Ham,
one of the highest jumping basketball players I've ever seen in my life. He used to play with the Denver Nuggets, and boy, oh my goodness, for him to be a coach now, that's why it takes me back. Like, wait a minute, Donovan Ham is a coach in the NBA. That's crazy.
Of a top team, the NBA at that.
Top team. So, I wanted to say that the reason the Warriors, I think, is having problems is because of the chemistry between Green and Poole.
Yeah, we've heard about some of those.
There's a lot of rumbling going on that he mentioned everybody in that press conference except for Jordan Poole.
Yeah.
He said nothing about him. And if you notice, Jordan Poole's minutes have diminished.
Yeah, it's hard because basketball is a lot about chemistry. What's made it so strong is because they've had such a tight knit, chemistry, and and then also everyone has to play their role in part, right? Like Draymond has established himself as an alpha dog. If somebody's an alpha dog, it can cause some conflict and controversy, right?
Oh,
because he is such a strong, personality. But and you hate to see that, play off on the court. But again, now going to say to this, what can they do with the little time that they might have now if they want to make it longer? But what can they do now to get things right? And so again, I think Steve Kerr has a busy job on their hand. Can teammates, can they push aside, some of the beasts or whatever they have going on to in this moment win? And I think Jordan Poole is a name that we keep hearing some tension kind of around.
Yeah,
young, talented player that we all love to watch. But right now, it's like you're not having anything support your talent. Your last games haven't been good.
They sure haven't. And he actually got the last shot off. Like, wow.
So it's just so much with him, It's like analytics guys are like having a breeze with Jordan Poole because there's not much to report on. Like, so it's like you just need more.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, thank you. This has been dope. Oh my goodness. I'm sitting here on my show talking about sports. You don't understand how comfortable I am right now. You done made me very comfortable.
Well, thank you for having me on to come talk sports with you. I had a blast.
Yes. Exactly. So I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to give me your top 5 sports athletes.
Top 5 sports athletes.
Doesn't matter what sport it is.
Ever.
Oh,
this is good. But only 5. Okay. I'm going to start with, may he rest in peace, Black Mamba, Kobe Bean Bryant.
Yes.
I mean, that one, it's like you just have to pause him because it's still honestly hard to believe that like he's gone. I think so many, are still just like.
That hurt.
So that hurt. I mean,
it hurt me.
Where we were when that.
So I was just looking at him at the Laker game when LeBron finally got past him and he gave him that hug.
Yeah.
And if you notice, LeBron was hurt, looked like he was hurt more than everybody.
Yeah. Because
he was a mentor. He was a mentor. He took LeBron under his wing, and for something so tragic with his daughter, that That was just
it broke your heart even more, to know we lost Gigi. Like it's heartbreaking, So I had to start.
I had to say Kobe.
Had to start with Kobe. Okay, next I'm gonna go. I mean, I grew up, I loved boxing growing up, and I have to give it to the GOAT, Muhammad Ali. I mean, come on now, like nothing else needs to be said. I mean, Muhammad Ali dropped the mic. There's so many great boxers, since, but Muhammad Ali changed again. And again, talk about an athlete and a person who was able to change so much beyond sports and stood for so much.
Yes, he has.
Beyond sports. So definitely have to give.
He was a hero. He was my hero. He was my hero.
Lisa Leslie, got to give shout out to ladies basketball.
Ooh,
I'm going to put Lisa Leslie on my list. Again, I grew up playing basketball. So you knew I was going to put.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming. You're a ball player too?
Yes. I'm like, come on, I can play. And then I told you I was a Ravens fan growing up. And I got to give it to the ball hawk, my all-time favorite player, Ed Reed. Ed Reed, 2 tickets to paradise. He said that after the Ravens won the Super Bowl. Love me some ball hawk Ed Reed.
Yeah.
One of the best safeties to ever play.
One of the best safeties to ever play. Yes, he's top.
And so many players will give you props. Like they always had to know where Ed Reed was on that football field.
Yeah, he's a ball hawk. He was literally a ball hawk. And don't forget about his tackling. He will pop you.
I love Ed Reed as a player, and obviously so glad to see him get a Super Bowl and become a Super Bowl champion. Now, my last one, I actually surprised people. So I like watching the Olympics, and I love watching beach volleyball. I think last time I go, Misty May Trainer. And if you watch beach volleyball,
I know who that is. I know exactly who that is.
That probably will surprise folks, but I played volleyball growing up as well. If you play beach volleyball is hard, and to do that with 2 people, even harder.
Yes.
So
especially jumping in that damn sand, that's not easy. That's not easy. It's not easy at all.
I have to give it to Missy. She's one of the ones I just loved watching.
Nice. Check you out. And you pick some really dope.
I tried to go around the sports spectrum too.
The Ali, when you picked Ali, I was so happy. Wow.
Oh, I had to. There's so many great boxers, but I have to start with the one that really changed.
Yes.
So much, obviously, for the boxing world and just for society. As a whole, and what he stood for. As a person. And he didn't playing. Yeah, against that person. So I had to. My top 5. First 5, top 5.
First 5, top 5. Listen. Again, this has been a classic interview for me. I've never had this much fun on an interview.
Oh, thank you. Well, people need to have more fun with you, Derrick, because you're a fun guy.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you saying that because I try to have people come on my show and be comfortable. And it seemed like we was just sitting in your living room just having a damn conversation.
Always. And that's what I like. I mean, that's why I love doing these, and as much as I can, I do try to do them with folks because I love just having a conversation. I love to get to know people. I like people. I genuinely do. If I don't like a person, they've had to do something because I genuinely give everybody grace and space. And again, I just truly love people as a whole. I want to know your story, who you are. I want to find connection points. And that's why I enjoy these because that's when you get a chance to just have a conversation, be real and talk. And the world needs more of that. Folks need to get off these devices and learn how to talk again, have a conversation.
Exactly.
Society.
Exactly. Because again, I'm sitting up here, I got to tell my wife and them, I said, I finally got a woman that knows sports.
And there's a lot of us. I'm gonna have to connect to you because I'm like, look, we're gonna change that narrative. There's a lot of ladies that know their sports, know it well, and know it better than a lot of the fellas, if I might say so.
Well, let me tell you, my family. I'm gonna tell you something. I've been married for I'll be going on 34 years. Let me explain.
Congratulations, that's amazing.
Let me explain what's going on in my house. All right. Now, I've been a Miami Dolphin fan since '73.
Okay.
Literally, and no one in my family liked this team. So I got my little blanket, the hat, I'm all set up.
Exact out.
For the years, the Miami Dolphins have been horrible.
Yeah, but until this year.
Let me tell you something.
I'm still mad about that Ravens game when they bounced their way all the way back.
Yo, let me tell you something. You know what was so funny about that game? Because I said, it is not like they were stopping us. We were stopping ourselves.
Our secondary got embarrassed. The Ravens secondary was embarrassed. And Tua, props to him, hell of a game.
Talking about he can't throw down the field. What?
I wish he didn't do it that game.
I
So
know that's
he's
right.
great. Waddle. Miami's been fun. Honestly, something's in the water in Florida. You
So,
look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it's been fun watching Florida football.
It's so funny. I'm in Orlando. So what's going on is that I thought if I move to Orlando, I get all the Miami Dolphin games. Not happening.
Ah.
I got the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Are y'all serious? I got to move to Jacksonville to get the Miami Dolphin games. I'm
crazy?
like,
They got to change that. They got to do better.
You know what I'm saying? But tell everybody where to see you.
Yeah, so highly encourage y'all if you want to follow, which I hope you do, because again, I want to connect with you. I truly do. My website is KelseyNicoleNelson.com. I post all my updates there, but on social media where I'm very active, the real
Right
K Nelson. The real K
right.
Nelson on Instagram, Twitter, also on Facebook. Just put Kelsey Nicole Nelson. I'm looking forward to connecting with y'all. I do a variety of shows each week, so that's why you have to follow to find out what I'll be doing. I'm doing a lot of great work. I'm a brand ambassador, as you mentioned, as well, for Natalia Megan Makeup and Beauty. I actually got the lip gloss on right now. So ladies, also check out the website and social media if you need your makeup, your lipstick. Also got some of that for everybody. And again, also looking to connect with people for my Books Breaking Borders program, collecting books during our book drives, always looking for volunteers. And actually soon I'll be posting, looking for summer interns for my Listen In with K&N internship program. So any students or recent grads, if you want to join the digital media program, be on the lookout for more information. So excited about that.
Listen, let me tell you something. What we're going to do at 2111 Radio, that we do with everyone that comes to the show.
Yeah.
If you have any posts or anything you want to spread out, tag us. You have to tag us.
All right.
Put it in our stories, and we have numerous of people that'll help put it in theirs.
That's awesome. That'd be fantastic. So thank you so much. I so appreciate that.
I'm going to definitely be watching. Now I could go to Peacock and I could go to Fox. I'm like, yo, guess I know her. That's my homie.
Please.
That's my homie.
And I'll tell you, my journeys have taken me to, I just did International Female Riders Day. I rode an off-road vehicle, folks. Check that out on the Fox page. And I have it on my stories. But, got to go to Bluefield, Virginia, go through the woods, go through the mud, the dirt, the grime, all of that, for International Female Riders Day in collaboration, with Blair. So that's why I say, you have to follow because you just never know. I use the payphone too, by the way. Use the payphone.
Exactly.
Out there. So it's been, again, just fun and a blessing. And I'm just thankful for this journey called life that continues to just take me in so many different places and spaces, events, red carpets, sporting venues. And I'm just continuing to share and tell my story and to get to listen and hear others.
Yes. And again, I'm honored. And this was dope. I'm telling you right now. I'm going to never forget this interview because you talked about my passion. I love sports.
Thank you.
If I wish I could hire you, I have a damn sports channel right here today, like 2111 Radio Sports, because someone just said it in the audience. We should put you on a panel or something and come in here and talk about sports. I'm like, man, I can't afford her. I can't afford her. I can't afford her. No, not right now.
Funny. No, I appreciate you. Keep up the great work. Love what the station is doing. So many great people connected to it. And again, I just love seeing Black excellence. So salute to you all. Keep it up. And know so many are rooting for you all.
Thank you so much. And again, thanks everybody for showing up tonight. It's been wonderful. And I'll definitely be talking to this young lady more often. Trust me. And y'all have a good night. Just stay